So, obviously, a lot of people are tired of talking about this, but as told by Kenya on Instagram, reshared this post, and I just want to read it out. You stayed silent when Palestinians were bombed and killed this year, last year, and every other year. You stayed silent when Palestinians were forced to live in an open prison where with nowhere to go, no food, medical, or water supply. You stayed silent when children were kidnapped from their home and had their homes demolished and their families torn apart. You stay silent each day as Palestinian rights are taken away with no regard to their humanness. But you bring outrage when Israel experienced what Palestinians have experienced for the past 75 years. So you want to play the victim just to suffer or to just suffer and stay oppressed? The oppressed have a right to exist. If you are speaking up in support of Israel these days and have never spoken up on any of the daily atrocities taking place in Palestine, sit down. Your performative activism is unnecessary. It's hard for me to see the entire text on screen with my view. That's why sometimes when I am reading off of the screen, it doesn't sound very good. But okay, you can read it yourself. Anyway, I've heard a lot of like Palestinian lawyers, activists, writers using terms that come from post-traumatic slave syndrome. They're basically talking about how traumatized Palestinians are going to be for the rest of their lives, and really a lot of Arab people. And then I saw Wyan Chill, she's literally an attorney. She does a whole series on Patreon that's about colonialism, white colonialism specifically, because it's global. Anyway, so she did Colonizer Exposed, Palestine and Israel. It's very well researched. You should go watch that. But it's not really about being pro-Palestine. Though, I mean, if I had to take a side, I'd be pro-Palestine as opposed to pro-Israel for sure. But it's more about really being loud and being clear that, like, you are not okay with one side having performative activism and wanting to justify outrage just because the victims are white. Like, this is what is so strange about the Ukraine war. And it's the same thing, actually, that's happening with Israel. If you see those pictures and those signs, the U.S. right now is giving $3.2 billion each year to Israel, and they've been doing it. So it's not just because of the war. They've been doing this every year. And that money has been used to create this like Jewish state. And I saw something that Tiana posted today that was basically saying like Jewish people have no real right to Israel as the land. Also, that's just like a name that they are creating. People always try to use like biblical text and all type of shit. I'm not going to be the like anti-Christian person here and be like, well, a proud book isn't real. But like I could write on a little sticky note right now and be like, you know, Olivia has a towel or something. Like 20 years from now, people can see that little sticky note. And they were all like, Olivia has a towel. Olivia has a towel. I mean, I do think that YouTube and other forms of content creation are good forms of like journalism and documentation just to kind of like put a stance on how you might feel or where you are in the world. But it's also just so fucking strange because like, you just can't you can't like legitimately stand on both sides of the fence, especially when you're talking about like moral correctness, which is the sentiment. I keep hearing that word, moral correctness, in terms of war. And really, we're not even talking about really war. I think this is actually more about human politics. The thing with human politics is like, men don't like each other, and they don't really like each other so much that they like kill other men, create territory to then like habitate and like, you know, build shit on the things that they've conquered, and they don't want other people to have it. That's why we have all these things known as like state rights, property rights. Okay, that's why we have maps and land grabs and passports. visas, like qualifications for entry, kind of like a hierarchy amongst citizenship, right? Like Americans at the top, then maybe like Europeans, then like all the other people are just like below that, right? Depends on which passport you have, because the currency that's backing that passport means that you have more like economic freedom to be able to like do shit, buy shit, go places, and spend your money, okay, in ways that are going to maybe like improve your life, or at least be able to give money to another society, and that place can use their money to improve their life, because everywhere on planet Earth life costs money. The more money you have, the better life you can afford, like quality of life. And like, we're never going to get to a space where we are all able to live together. That's why I continue to say that the American dream is bullshit. Like, it is complete bullshit. And especially with Black Americans, for so long we've been these kind of like tokens for like idealism, like step by step. It's like, which year is it? And then that's how much progress you can make. If the year is 1935, Black people don't have shoes, they don't have hair conditioner, they don't have showers yet, they're still in the cotton fields. If it's 1956, okay, now Black people have shoes, but they don't have like sneakers or Jordans or nothing, but they have like flippy flops. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's like 1970, okay, like Black people got access to pencils for the first time. If it's like 2000, one Black person got a laptop. You know what I'm saying? It's like this really slow incremental step toward like basic human dignity and citizenship. And now it's 2023, and I feel like self-actualization has happened for most Black people who realize, oh, this isn't our land. We're actually from Africa. We should probably go back so that we can like continue living our lives as Black Africans. And good. It's like harmony in the way that it's like supposed to be. It's like if you take something from somewhere where it does not belong, and then you like put it somewhere it doesn't belong, it's not going to thrive. And we got to be real about